First of all, do you understand happiness is a state of your mind? So, mind is essential, very important. Positive state of mind is essential to your happiness. On an everyday basis, what can you do to make the mind positive, keep the mind positive? First is learn to appreciate the good in your life. First thing, there is so much goodness in your life. Today you are in a position, very few can be in this position. You are studying at one of the premier educational institutions in this country, and which is looked up to even in foreign countries. God has endowed you with the very best of brains. You have come from such good families. You have everything that life has to offer. Are you appreciative? Do you understand this? And habitually, do you appreciate the goodness in others? Do you talk about it? या सिर्फ इसने ये नहीं किया, इसने ऐसा किया, इसने वैसा किया. This should not be your default dialogue, even in your mind. Make the mind positive through sentiments of appreciation. Appreciate the good in others. Anything of value you see, you should say, ah, this is beautiful. If this sentiment does not arise in your mind, if you have a tendency to put down everything, you will be in perpetual depression. Your mind will give the immediate effect. First point. Second point is gratitude. Be grateful for the blessings of your life. Please see this, even for a simple plate of food to come in front of you. Do you know how many people have worked? At least 15 people have worked. Today you had lunch and came here. 15 people have worked for that single plate of food to come in front of you, starting from that farmer who sowed the seeds. And you just, when you are not gratitude for, you don't have gratitude for what you have, you insult the work and the energy of all these 15 people. That has an effect on your mind. So be grateful for every single thing that has come into your life. Be grateful for it. So be humble. Be thankful on an everyday basis. So be respectful to the people around you at least. To whomever you encounter, you know, namaste in our culture, what it means? I bow down to the God in you. That is why we join our palms. This should be our attitude to anybody coming in front of us. Then positivity will reign in your mind. Because this is the way of life. This is not some theory. You have to be grateful because you are taking from life. At least acknowledge it and be grateful. Tomorrow you will have to give back. So gratefulness should be an undercurrent in your mind constantly. Respectfulness and gratefulness. Then the logic of basic sentiments and emotions, let me tell you. See, your normal logic, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. This applies only to mathematics. It doesn't apply at the level of emotion or awareness. What do I mean by this? If you share love, if you give service, if you give care, empathy, it only grows. Usually people don't want to give because they feel somewhere they will lose. It will deplete something in them. The logic of emotion is as you give, it grows. Please see this. Suppose there is a mother at home. Now, you are the son. When you go home, she gives 100% of her love to you. She is so happy that you have come. She does so many things for you. A mother's nature is like that. Now, after a few days, your sister also comes. She is able to give 100% of her love to that sister also. Now, if she gave 100% love to you, she must be at 0 level now when your sister comes, according to your mathematics. But this maths doesn't work like this. She is able to give 100% love to your sister also. When somebody else comes, a guest comes, she is able to give love to that guest also. She is able to serve everybody. Why? She is basically of a loving disposition. She is a person with love. This is the nature of love. The more you give, the more it grows. 2 minus 2 is equal to 4, not 0. Which means what? If you give your love to somebody, you feel it is 2 minus 2, you don't become 0. It adds to you, you become 4. You have developed the loving disposition and you can give out more and more. When does it deplete within you? If you don't give it. If you don't give your love, it will become 0. If you don't give care, if you don't give attention to others, if you don't include others in your life, you will become a 0. The more you give, the more it grows. You know, you have heard of Purnamadam Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevavashishyate. This is an important mantra in Vedas. They are telling you that is Purna. Brahman is Purnam. This world, which is its manifestation, also is Purnam. And that Purnam creates this Purnam. And if you remove Purnam from Purnam, Purnam remains over. Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. It means this. If you give wholly of something, still it remains over as whole. If you cannot give, you will get depleted of it. So this is the logic of love. If you want to be happy, you must have a loving disposition, one of giving. You are the giver anywhere. Just now you cannot give monetarily, but how can you give? You see, to your family, how can you give? You can give in terms of love and care and attention, feeling, isn't it? In so many ways you can show your love. But if you want to remain totally away, or you don't even acknowledge what they have done for you, what your society has done for you, how much you have taken from society, then you will become loveless, unhappy. So understand this, a loving disposition naturally brings great happiness into your life. Now let me focus on one more thing. Engagement produces happiness, high level engagement of the mind. Have you seen this? If you are absorbed in some mathematical problem, in something which is deeply engaging to your mind, it will produce a vast amount of happiness in your system. It is a higher level of happiness. Please remember this basically, there are different levels of happiness available to you. You can watch that video, Ladder of Happiness. It is there in NRCV videos. The ladder of happiness. Human personality means you are given this ladder of happiness. At the base of the ladder, the very first rung of the ladder is sensory level happiness, what you get from sensual objects. That is not the only level, that's only the first rung. After that you have happiness born of thought. After that you have happiness born of your intelligence, intellect. You see, a high level mathematical problem, even a game of chess, it simply engages you. Flow is generated. So you have a lot of happiness out of that. Then you have the happiness of service. That's the next rung of the ladder. You just give something to a person in need, and the satisfaction that will spread across his or her face will produce enormous satisfaction in you. Gandhiji says this in his autobiography, you know. He says, once he gave something to a poor child, and the happiness that in degrees spread across that face, it completely satisfied him. For the first time he understood joy comes when joy is given to another. This is the strange thing about happiness. You make somebody happy, your heart will be full of happiness. So understand that the joy of service is very high. Beyond that is the happiness born of meditation, the stopping thought or bringing very sattvic thought into your mind. Your mind explodes with bliss, very high level happiness. So these are all the rungs of happiness. The ladder of happiness is available to you. You know, when you become unhappy, when you restrict your happiness only to the first level of the ladder, the first rung, you are trying to maximize objects there, collecting more and more objects. That is not the way to increase your happiness. You must climb the ladder, go to the next level, go to the thought level, the intellectual level, the service level, the meditation level. That is the way to maximize happiness in your life. If you try to maximize happiness only by remaining at one rung, It can't be done that way. You must climb the ladder. So this is basically what you should know about happiness. Finally, I will give you one equation for happiness and finish today's class. You see, initially you think the external object is responsible for your happiness. Gradually, as you mature in life, you will understand your mind went into a particular state, so happiness was generated, maybe stimulated by the object, but happiness is a state of mind. Finally, you understand happiness was nothing but a property of yourself, your own being, reflected by the mind and superimposed on that object, attributed to that object, but essentially it is my own being. Not that it is happy, it is happiness itself, it is all bliss. When its reflection falls on your mind, the mind becomes happy, if it is not very cluttered. And that happiness level you superimpose on objects and you give credit to the object. So this entire thing, it is to be known by oneself in the state of yoga. If you enter the state of meditation, you will know this by yourself. This is how we learn vivek, discrimination, because it's an experience with you. So this is what you must essentially know about mind management. We have covered a lot of essential points today. Go over this again and again. With the help of your meditation, this should become part and parcel of your thinking. Not like one course class, not like that. Part and parcel of my thought process. And a lot of fulfillment will come into your life.